In the wrestling world, the people are represented by two separate but unequally important groups. The wrestlers and bookers, who literally do all the hard work, and the fans, who endlessly nitpick and overanalyze everything they do. These are their stories.
It's Warhorse, and you need to shut your mouth, open your eyes, and clean out your ears, because it's time to listen to the Raw and Order podcast. That's right, they're bringing you the best in all that meaty podcasty goodness in one, what is it, an hour? Two? Who cares? Who gives a shit? You need to listen to it right now, or else Warhorse is gonna, roll your ass!
Welcome to another episode of Raw and Order, the Wrestling Booking Unit, the only wrestling podcast that this week is going to force you to look at my ugly mug for, the hour or 2 hours. Who gives a shit? I am your host, Detective Mark Smarts, and I'm joined audio only right now by my partner in crime fighting, District Attorney Vincent Kayfabe. What's going on, man? How are you?
Yeah, I'm on the Spider Fade machine. I'm on my phone because I'm headed back home from a road trip. So, I turned off Rick Astley and decided to come on a podcast. But you know what love is, so.
I want to know what love is. That's not Rick
Astley.
Oh,
Rick Astley is, what is love? Love is baby, don't hurt me.
That's not Rick Astley.
Yes, it is.
No, that's Hadaway. What is love? Baby, don't hurt. Rick Astley was the never gonna give you up.
Oh, that's right.
You down.
It's all on one station, so that's what I would listen.
It's fine. I worked way too long in radio to
True. In that time frame, that era.
Yeah. Also joining us from up north, RCMP JLB, also audio only. So that's why you get to look at this.
Hey.
Hashtag blessed.
Hashtag sexiest man alive.
Where?
Wait. It's fucking hot, guys. And honestly, I have my shirt off and no one wants to see that. So they'd rather see your pretty face.
Yeah, so.
Whoa,
so
hold up. Coming as the guy who shows his nipples all the time.
Yeah.
It's not going to hurt.
The question I have is you're saying it's hot. How hot is it up there?
It is, it's really extremely hot in my room. So.
Like what? Like 28?
It is with the humidity. It's. It's 23, but my room is fucking 30 something.
Oh,
it's too fucking hot. And I have the window open.
Oh my gosh, it's like 80 degrees in his room.
Yeah. Oh geez, 80 degrees. Oh man, how will you ever do it?
I don't know. I'm feeling maybe I'm getting hot flashes as a man. I don't know what to tell you.
23 is a whopping 75 stateside. That's not that hot.
Yeah, it's cooling down right now, and currently it's 84 degrees outside. But that's cooling. It was
which translates to about 31, 32, bud. Just so you know.
It was 92, 93 today outside.
Which translates to 35, almost 38, which is the body temperature.
Fair enough, guys. I don't know. I'm weak. All right? Is that what you want to hear?
You get so weak in the knees. You can... Sorry. This is not a music
Hey, Smarts,
podcast.
did you know there's a beaver crossing Nebraska?
It's been doing it for years.
Yeah.
Decades, even. It's
I don't know if it'll ever make it, but...
What's funny is it really needs to get to Beaver City, Nebraska. That's where beavers belong, right?
Why, is that where its friend is? Nebraska jokes.
Yeah. I don't know, but his name is Dale, and he's a pleasant Dale. And everyone outside of Nebraska, which is, probably everyone listening, is like, what the fuck?
What are these guys talking about? Road trip I-80, fellas. Road trip I-80.
Yeah. But anyways,
Or ladies, if Lovely Ambrosia's on.
Who knows?
Who knows?
I'm sure she'll pipe up if she is.
Yeah, at some point, perhaps.
Either way, we're gonna talk professional wrestling, and I'm gonna be upfront. I did not really get to pay much attention to him this week. Hello to Kiss These Games.
Which is also technically Ambrosia.
Is that Ambrosia?
Yeah.
Oh,
Hey.
People got to switch it up every so often. You know what I mean? They got to switch it up.
no.
Mm-hmm.
My name is Vincent Kayfabe. I once had a different name. It's changed.
See, people change it up. So you proved my point.
One time.
I've been
One time.
Mark since the day I was born.
Oh,
Yep, he's been Mark Smarts. He has gotten a promotion during the show, though.
Yeah. I was
He used to be
Officer
a
Mark
beat
Smart.
cop.
And I got
Yep.
promoted to detective.
Uh,
But yeah,
I feel
didn't
like
really...
you're ready to be a commissioner.
Well, first I'd have to be a captain. I could take my sergeant's exam and be a sergeant, and then get up to captain, and then eventually maybe commissioner. I don't know. I got to pass my sergeant's exam though first, and that's whew.
whatever. You'll never be Tom Selleck, okay? So don't even try.
The commish.
The commish.
Commish.
But so in full disclosure, I say I haven't been able to watch follow wrestling much this week. I've mentioned on episodes previously over the last 4 weeks or so that my mom was sick, and this week was not a good week for her, and she did end up passing on Friday, and so I've been dealing with that, and therefore
Our heart goes out to you, my friend.
Oh,
yeah, it's
that's a tough
I'm mostly just numb right now. I think, but so because of that, I'm gonna have to rely on you guys to talk a lot about the wrestling, to tell me what happened here and there and where, and everything. Because I technically watched Wednesday Dynamite. I technically watched Raw, I believe, but I wasn't watching it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I was just so.
Yeah. Would be hard to watch anything or do anything when given said news, though. So completely understandable, bud. And we'll do our best because honestly, I bet we both remember Dynamite, but in terms of Raw, I don't know. That might be iffy on both of us. But yeah, I guess we can kind of start off. Well, I mean, who supports us and promotes us and partners with us and something, whether with Tatnus, the Cody, the co of the network of the Tatnus individualist person.
So yes, TatnusCo.com. We're part of the Tatnus Co podcast network. I was just letting you just stumble through it as long as I could. So we're part of the Tatnus Co podcast network. So the link is going to be in the doobly-doos for TatnusCo.com, but that's what it is, TatnusCo.com. And you can head on there and see the other shows in the network and let them know that we sent you. But yeah. Raw this week. This was one of those dumb weeks for WWE. We mentioned when we did our late review of Money in the Bank that 4th of July weekend is the worst weekend for fucking wrestling shit, because here in America we got shit to do, and Monday was the 4th, so here they had Raw going on while people in America were getting drunk and blowing shit up. So I don't think it's of a surprise to anyone that a lot of people didn't pay attention to what happened in Raw. Right?
No, that's valid, and it wasn't really that much of a memorable Raw. I mean, the only thing I could really recall was R-Truth dressing up as Uncle Sam. And Gunther just completely fucking him up.
That was on SmackDown, I believe, but
that was on Raw.
It was Raw.
Was
That was
that Raw?
Raw.
I thought
Yeah.
that was SmackDown. I'm looking at the Raw report.
And it's not Gunther, it's Gunther.
Gunther. Okay, yeah, they're.
It's Walter, okay? Fuck off.
Yeah, that's correct.
So yeah, that's why I didn't. But the only thing I remember from Raw is Finn Balor wearing pants.
Oh, snap.
Right.
I didn't even remember that. I
Yep,
just didn't hear
Dance,
about
you are
Judgment
correct,
Day.
yeah.
Yeah.
He's got the long tights now instead of and a like banner hanging out of his back pocket.
Yes, I saw the banner. That I remember.
Which is
For some
which is
reason, I didn't remember the
dumb.
pants. Oh.
Yep, they're long boys. It's supposed to, I guess, fit the aesthetic of the group, but I don't know. It's gonna take a while for me to get used to Balor in pants.
Nope, that's fair. But it's I welcome the change though. You know, I just really don't care for this group anymore. That's the only issue now that I'm having.
I think it's being regulated incorrectly. I think the induction of Finn Balor should have elevated the group. If that's what they were, if he's good enough to take over from Edge, then it should elevate the group instead of regulate the group.
I think it was it all took place too fast. It should have been Finn Balor added to the group. Finn Balor's with the group. They're a foursome for a while. And then
now it looks like it's Damian Priest group.
Wow. I mean, they had a whole thing where they said there's no leader of this group.
Right.
There's no leader, which is fine, right? But my point is, it should have been a 4-person group for a while, and then Finn Balor leads the revolution against Edge after a while. Like even show a little bit of like animosity between them.
Cool.
Yeah, where like they weren't getting along on some things, but Edge was like, I'm the boss and I do it, and then the turn. Because right now it just is like, oh, you build up this group and then you just fuck it off,
Well,
and put it on main event.
Yeah, multiple times. The other piece to it that is extremely relevant is, hey, you know what would make your group better? The day after you guys beat me, if I was in your group and we kicked out the guy who pinned me. But yeah, that would make us better. But what?
I do think there was one match that they had on Raw that I think kind of epitomizes WWE's kind of method. They had Carmella, who just lost at the pay-per-view to Bianca Belair, and Natalya, who just lost at the pay-per-view to Ronda Rousey, who then got beat by Liv Morgan for the championship, versus Liv Morgan and Bianca Belair. So it's like, hey, these people both just lost, but maybe if they team up, they can beat the people who just beat them.
Who have no history together. Both
who have no
sets
history
have no history together.
Yeah. And it's just like, meh.
We're gonna have ourselves a tag team match, player.
Yeah, doesn't make much sense. Doesn't, but I didn't even really necessarily pay attention to it because I was just like, well, this is a stupid match. Obviously, Bianca's going to win. Like, why would this change? Why do you want me to watch this pointless matchup when you already know I'm going to know the result? I'll just, I don't know, go for a smoke break or very pointless. So, I don't know.
I would like to propose a change just because I did the very bad Teddy Long impression. I'd like to propose a change in the authority setup.
Yeah.
Bring back Teddy Long for one of the two brands. And the CEO of WWE can be the general manager. The acting CEO of WWE can be the general manager of WWE. In one of those two brands, and then she can get her comeuppance because I think there's a whole bunch. There's a whole lot of storylines about the fact that really the heel is supposed to get their comeuppance.
So,
and
Yeah.
I mean, I don't necessarily disagree. What my big thing is, I think if you're gonna have an authority figure on a show like Raw or SmackDown and WWE in general, heel authority figure is the only way it really works.
yeah.
Adam Pearce as the good guy, like nice
Eddie
guy.
did pretty dang good, and he was not heel.
I see. I wasn't really watching. during
But
the
he
Teddy
was
Long
also
period.
R-Truth. You know what I mean? He was just kind of fucking random with his shit, and people just loved him because he said playa and he was funny. So it wasn't because he was heel or face. It was just because, I don't know, he was just ridiculously funny and people just loved him. That's why I mentioned like R-Truth style kind of thing.
Yeah. But in the end, I firmly believe that the authority figure works best as a heel, because it gives your faces something to overcome, right? Adam Pearce as the face authority figure who's just there to make sure this show is good, doesn't give anyone something to overcome.
Right.
And the only way he gives someone something to overcome if he starts acting unfair towards a heel, at which point it undermines the heel being the bad guy because now you feel for them.
He kind of did it with Austin Theory, or with Theory, sorry.
Well, but my point is, if you keep doing that, it totally undermines Theory as the heel. Now he's got sympathy because he keeps getting screwed over.
Because Pierce put Theory into the match.
Yeah, but he
Now,
kind
it
of put him
came
into the
from
match
Vince,
because he was
but-
forced to by Vince. So it's like, hey guys, it's out of my hands.
Yeah.
You know.
Pierce is the equivalent of Michael Cole behind a laptop right now.
Yeah,
That's
in his heel mode.
so at this point,
But Michael Cole was a better
he's-
heel.
Well, but
I agree.
I'm also saying this at this point. If he's taking orders from someone else, he's not the authority figure anymore, right?
Well, he's
the middleman,
yes.
and middlemen are not the authority; they just work for the authority, right? And that's the problem is, like, if it's always like, anytime I do something bad, it's because I'm being forced to, then you're no longer an authority figure, and that's not a fun storyline. And so, you know, when Sonya Deville was being a jerk as an authority figure, it was fun. Because she would come out and she'd be like, I'm the authority figure, I can make whatever matches I want, and I'm making this match, and I'm wearing the fucking jacket, so that means I'm in charge, and then when I take off the jacket, I'm no longer an authority figure, I'm just, you know, a wrestler. And so she would make the match with the thing, and then she'd take it off, and she'd be the wrestler, but it would be all tilted in her favor.
Right.
And then they pulled the trigger on ending that way too early, if you ask me.
Yeah, because I feel like, but I think we also commented on that we were kind of getting bored of that, or at least I was getting bored of that, more so because I think the fans generally liked Sonya Deville as a wrestler, and you know, I think we eventually liked her coming back to the ring, but not as this authority figure thing because it was stupid and they just overplayed it way too much. I don't necessarily think it was that quick. It did run its course.
I don't think so. I was perfectly happy with it. Now, her getting her comeuppance is the key to it, right? But then what have they done since then?
Oh, no, now it's just they don't know what to do with her anymore. I feel like I haven't seen her on.
She had a storyline, and then they gave her a comeuppance too quickly. In my opinion, I was fine with it. I loved it.
Mm-hmm.
But anyways, that's me. They also had Asuka versus Becky Lynch, apparently for the like 300.
Oh, no holds barred though.
It was no holds barred, but it's still, like I would have.
I'll never get bored of that though. I'll never get bored of that. I don't know.
I will get bored of it if it's done a million times. Like it has.
Not with those two. Again, great wrestling though. It was
great wrestling, but I like it just doesn't. continue a storyline. It's like it's the same old. You know, remember a few years ago they said that they were getting rid of the rematch clause because they understood we didn't like rematches. And I said on this show that it's not that we don't like rematches, we don't like pointless rematches. This is an example of a pointless rematch. Right? There was no real reason for them to fight in a no holds barred match, you know? At least not here. You build it up, and then put them in a no holds barred match at a pay-per-view, maybe. But as it was right now, it was just like, meh. I mean, it was a good match. I'm not saying it wasn't a good match. I'm just saying I had no emotion in this because I just looked at it and I said, hey, these people have fought 37 million times in the last 2 months. You know, I don't care who wins.
Right.
And you're supposed to care who wins in a professional wrestling match. You're supposed to say Becky Lynch is the heel and Asuka's the good guy, and so I'm gonna root for Asuka. But I didn't. I don't feel anything for this match.
No, at that point, I was more like in my AEW, like, I'm just gonna enjoy this match because it's two people that I really like to watch, and it's a freaking no holds barred. Let's get going. You know what I mean? We do that for AEW, although there's not necessarily a crazy storyline. But if we see Thunder Rosa versus, Ruby Riott, or Kenny Omega versus, I don't know, let's say Cody Rhodes, or Hangman versus Cody, or something like that, and there's not necessarily a storyline built into it, we are going to watch.
Once,
you know what I mean?
Maybe twice. But again, I'm not joking when I mentioned that this is Asuka versus Becky Lynch for the 7 millionth time. There
was a lull in between called a baby. But yes,
no, it's been
in this
almost,
particular feud, it's been fairly long.
In the last 3 months since Becky Lynch has come back, most of her matches here, I'm like there's against Asuka. Asuka was involved in the Fatal 4-Way that she was in at Money in the Bank. Or the Money in the Bank ladder match. The Fatal 4-Way is at a Sunday house show, right? Right. We go to the Raw Women's Triple Threat. There's Asuka in that. The Money in the Bank qualifying match. Asuka versus Becky Lynch. The Raw Women's #1 contender Fatal 5-Way. Carmella, Alexa Bliss, Asuka, Becky Lynch, and Liv Morgan. Going back through these house shows, skipping all of these. Raw Women's title triple threat. Asuka versus Becky Lynch versus the champion Bianca Belair. Go back to okay, there. The last time Asuka was on a Raw or a pay-per-view where she wasn't involved in a match with Becky Lynch was May 5th. May 5th.
See, that's only 2 months. Anyway.
2 months. But then before then, the Raw the week before then was Becky Lynch versus Asuka. And then before that, the Raw before that was the #1 contenders match with Becky Lynch versus Asuka. And then before that, the Asuka versus Bianca Belair. So that Bianca Belair has been the only other person that Asuka's faced in one-on-one since she came back. Right? Since Asuka came back in May, her only one-on-one matches has been versus Becky Lynch or Bianca Belair.
Wow. How elevated is Asuka?
And that's my, I don't mind seeing Asuka and Becky Lynch, but it would be great. It would also be great to see Asuka versus Lacey Evans single, or Asuka
Yeah.
versus Raquel Rodriguez single, or Asuka versus Alexa Bliss in a singles match, or Asuka versus Liv Morgan in a singles match. Heck, I would love to see Asuka versus Carmella in a singles match.
Would you?
Take that back right now, would you? Yeah,
I,
I don't.
I
Would
would.
you?
I've said before, Carmella is a lot better in the ring than people give her credit for. She's just also really annoying. But if anyone could pull a really great match out of Carmella, it's Asuka, right?
Oscar.
I don't think Carmella would be ready for Asuka.
She wouldn't be. She'd lose, right? That's the point, right? I'd love to see Asuka versus Sonya Deville. Asuka versus Rhea Ripley. Hopefully she heals up and comes back soon. And but it's literally been Asuka versus Becky Lynch nonstop since she came back. And that's why I'm like, yes, it was a no holds barred match and it was good. It was good from a technical standpoint, from a wrestling standpoint, but I'm tired of this 2.5 month long feud that's like not seeming to go anywhere.
Well, who?
Side note. You ready for this very unique side note?
Yeah.
Is it really that going to be that unique, though?
I also believe that the rematch clause was just being done wrong. If you're the challenger and you lose, there's not a rematch.
Yeah. That's what I think. We didn't like pointless rematches. We like if you're the champion and you lose, that's where the rematch class comes in. You lost the belt, you have an automatic rematch to try to win the belt back. If you're the challenger and you lose, you lost your challenge, back of the line.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, and
what
so
happened?
one of the things that happened when we got rid of that, we didn't get a chance for an unprepared Kofi to take on Brock. That could have been a good match if Kofi was the challenger and it was, you can still have Brock win, but you get Kofi, he got decimated. That's fine. He's still, this time he can try and do it a different route.
Yeah, because he's prepared and
Yeah.
That's my point. Like, and I know some people were complaining when on SmackDown, Ronda Rousey came out and said she wants a rematch and she got it. I'm fine with that. She had the belt, she lost it, she deserves a shot. That's fine. I'm not a fan of Ronda Rousey by any means, but that's the way the thing has always worked. And then they're like, no, we're getting rid of the rematch clause. But then they didn't get rid of the rematch clause because guess what? Ronda Rousey's getting her rematch.
Oh, really?
Well, and oftentimes
it's
in actual combat sport, there's a rematch, especially if it's a really good match.
Well, I mean, Nunes and Peta are gonna fight against each other in a rematch because Nunes was the champion for so long. Peta fucked her up. Is it Penta or Peta? It's Peta, right? I forgot. Anyways, so rematch clauses do happen though. So, and I'm really excited for that July 30th.
Yep. As of right now, at SummerSlam, Liv Morgan versus Ronda Rousey is on the slate. Usos versus Street Profits again. Bobby Lashley versus Theory again.
Oh Jesus! Why? Rematch?
Yeah, rematch. Roman Reigns versus Brock Lesnar in a last man standing match
Again.
But at least this one theoretically should have a victor. Although there is a theory on this, pun 100% intended. Oddly enough, one of the matches that I'm most excited for though right now, Pat McAfee versus Happy Corbin. Kick his ass, Pat McAfee.
I feel like he's gonna win for sure against fucking Corbin. Corbin's there to lose.
Well, especially since he signed a new multi-year contract, so
straight up.
I think Corbin is such a good heel that he really deserves a fucking title run, but that's just me.
Well, I mean, who else is in that position? Corbin, Sammy, KO.
In what position?
In just that heel or can do anything position.
Okay, Sammy
and
is
they
not a
won't give him-
title run person. Corbin is.
I just cracked my neck like 4 times, just so you guys know.
And I will fight you on your love of Sammy. Sammy is not WWE champion material.
Okay, calm down, Vince McMahon.
He's not AEW champion material either. He might be NXT champion material as a transitional champion.
Yeah, it's just because of how he is, though. He's too good at playing that chicken shit heel that you don't see that he could do more.
Really? The only time that he held the NXT championship, he wasn't a chicken shit heel. He was the face.
Yeah.
The overcoming face.
Yeah.
Maybe
Here's
if
what
they
I'm gonna
change
say.
him to the overcoming face, maybe then he is.
I think you just hit on what I was about to say is actually the real thing. It's not that he's not championship material. It's that he is not currently championship material because
That's fair. Okay.
When he would come out to his old ring music, whoa, 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 whoa,
Right.
well, the
I
crowd
missed that.
was so behind him.
Yeah.
They were like, yes, this guy, and he could do no wrong.
Right.
And now
he is not face here. He is not heel championship material. At best, he's the Miz as a heel champion. And
I mean, that's not a bad
quite
thing.
frankly, doesn't cut the promos that the Miz does.
But
Fuck what I said. It don't mean shit now.
so let's move on to AEW Dynamite for this week.
Yes, let's shout.
Well, hold on.
Okay.
There's gigantic news from NXT.
Do tell.
In particular, NXT UK.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
Ilya Dragunov, no longer the NXT UK champion.
Uh,
The guy who had a slap fest with Walter that made all of us want to cry.
I still can't believe he held that title since then. I'm like, what? He's still champion?
Yeah.
Fuck.
That dude had a red chest.
I mean, he's a fantastic wrestler, though. I want to rewatch that match again.
I'm gonna do the hot take right now here on this because JLB just said I can't believe he held the title since then.
Don't give me a Roman thing.
because
nobody watches NXT UK. Nobody cares about it.
True. Also true. But it is important to note that one of the best NXT UK matches that we've ever seen, because nobody watched it and was performed here stateside, was an exceptional match. One of the best matches WWE's put on in the last 3 years. One of, not the best. I'm not calling it the best. And one that made everybody say "owie" as they watched it. It is surprising that as good of a performer as he was in the one match JLB's seen, the one match I've seen of him, the one match Smarks has seen of him, that oh wow, he's still the champion. But it's also not surprising because that was that good of a match.
Right. No. That match was fuego, in all sense of the words.
No, Fuego's on AEW. Now you can go to AEW. I gave you your
Yeah.
Oh,
AEW. So AEW. Big news from AEW. We're just gonna start off because it was the first thing that happened. Street fight between at the time current TNT champion Scorpio Sky and Wardlow. And raise your hand if you just didn't think they were gonna strap up Wardlow just yet.
I didn't think they were going to make it a fucking squash. That's what I didn't think. So mad about that. Scorpio Sky deserves better. God damn it. Now I get it. I remember me saying, oh, you know what? I hate all these jobber matches, squash matches, make them fight people who are known. And hey, what do you know? They done did it. And what do you know? They done did it, but they made it a fucking squash. Like Scorpio Sky deserved to at least have done a lot more in that match. MJF, I got the whole scenario of why he did it to MJF. There was a whole storyline built there, and whatever. MJF was, fighting with Tony Khan. So
here's what I'm gonna say, right? The reason they made it a squash is because they're setting Wardlow up to not be just TNT champion, but to be bigger than TNT champion. Right. They like to say,
which may just be challenger for the AEW title.
Yes, that's
we
what
need to be clear about that. We're not saying that they're going to put the title on.
Yeah, but they're wanting to build him up. Here's the deal: they like to say that the TNT title is not a mid card title. Like they're all, but it's a mid card title. That's the whole point of it. Right. It's a mid card title, right? And the thing is, they wanted to show Wardlow as, listen, he's going to be the TNT champion because he's bigger than mid card. He is a main eventer who is slumming in the mid card because he's working his way up, right? And so you need to have him absolutely demolish a well-known name. Because I remember not too long ago that your complaint was not just that they were squashes, but that they were nobodies. Right. And this is showing that this is them telling the story that he doesn't just squash nobodies. He squashes named people.
Everything.
Yeah. Now, I'm going to point out that they're following a blueprint that was set 25 years ago. You know what I mean? With Goldberg. Yeah, right. They're setting this whole thing up where he comes in and first he squashes a bunch of jobbers and then he squashes a bunch of mid-carders and then he's going to squash some main eventers and maybe he'll be the champion or not, or maybe they'll have the champion be the one who finally overcomes it. I don't know, but that, I think, is what they're doing with it.
Side note, speaking of mid-carders who could be, who should be on the path to, or it's former TNT champions who should be on the path to a number one contendership or potentially an AEW title, I'll watch a Wardlow versus Miro match.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
I'll put that in my veins. I'll even let it be a squash or seem like a squash and then not be a squash. Like Miro can be the first one to kick out of the multi-power bomb. I'm okay with that.
I am too. With how they made Miro strong in that Atlantic match, that would make sense. That would be really cool. But man, you don't just squash Scorpio Sky. I don't know. I get it. They're making.
Here's the other thing we just mentioned: the Kofi squash, which was the most squash a champion has ever been.
Right.
No, other than Bob Backlund losing to Diesel.
Right.
The most squash a match has ever been for a champion in AEW. I feel like you can just turn around and have that rematch, and now I'm prepared for you. And then you can put on the Fire 12-minute match or 14-minute match. Or time limit draw, which says that Scorpio Sky gets yet another shot.
Yeah, I'd be down with that.
But now it's going to be interesting to see if Wardlow continues the each champion gets a custom belt trend. I'm hoping he comes out with one. Because as of right now, that's the story that they've been telling, is that each champion, ever since Brody Lee, has gotten a customized version of the belt since then. So here's me hoping that Wardlow comes out with something sweet.
Straight up, yeah.
This also was important to note that this title happened in Rochester, New York, home of former TNT champion Brody Lee.
Right.
Which also was the second time that the TNT title changed hands in Rochester, because Sammy Guevara won it in September of 2021 there too. So, Christian Cage and Luchasaurus had their promo. And,
Fantastic, as always.
Matt Hart. I have one gripe with it. And the gripe is with the promo, but also with the internet wrestling community as a whole. I remember not too long ago, when Jeff Hardy was in WWE, they used his substance abuse problems in an angle. And the internet wrestling community as a whole, including us here, talked about how he didn't like that. We don't like them using that real life in an angle on TV. And I stand by it. And that's why I have to bring this up here, because AEW is not doing anything different here. It's the same thing. They're using Jeff Hardy. It's the same person, even. They're using Jeff Hardy's actual substance abuse problems in an angle on here. And yes, it's to give heel heat, and I get it. But that's why it was done in WWE, was to get a bunch of heel heat on them. And so I have to point out that I would be hypocritical if I didn't also say I didn't like it when AEW did it. So.
And I guess I'll be a hypocrite. I think it works really well because it's Christian, and given the long feud that he's had with the Hardys from way back. Whereas with Sheamus, it just seemed like we don't have anything creative. This seemed more creative in using that. Whereas Sheamus, it just seemed like, well, we got nothing else. Let's talk about his like lack of sobriety kind of thing. His demons and all that. You know what I mean? So it did feel like it was just due to lack of creative for WWE's point. Whereas this one, I felt like there was more of a story behind it because Christian has seen Jeff throughout his, beginning stages and so on.
I mean,
so I don't know.
You can say that, except the whole reason they're doing this with Matt Hardy is lack of creative, because they had a plan for Matt and Jeff Hardy, and then Jeff's problems happened, and they're like, what do we do with Matt Hardy? Well, let's just throw him in a feud with Christian and Luchasaurus. How do we do that? Well, let's have Christian bring up Jeff Hardy's substance abuse problem. It's the same fucking storyline, just cut and paste.
That's fair.
And that's why I just have to say I wasn't a fan of it. And I know that they're building off of you looked at me like a father, but you have a father and he's dead. They're building up on the Christian being a dick. I get it. I just didn't like them bringing up real life substance abuse problems on this. And I just feel like I can't support it in this one after decrying it 2 years ago when WWE did it. So
that's fair. Fair point though. Oh no, that was technically Rampage. Mm-hmm. I'm passing. Brody John, what did you guys think? I thought it was a decent match.
Hey, look at this. You don't have to look at just me now.
Hey. And you don't have to hear him echo because I had him on both.
Echo.
What if I want to echo all the time? Echo all the time. Echo all the time. Echo all the time. Echo all the time.
My girl likes to echo all the time. Echo all the time.
That's a song?
Well, it's party all the time.
Oh, okay.
My girl likes to party all the time. Party all the time. Party all the time. Anyways, but so they had Keith Lee and Swerve Strickland versus the Butcher and the Blade. Whatever. They had Eddie Kingston.
Whatever.
It's so tough. I want to like Butcher and Blade.
Oh, but I do like them sometimes, though. It's weird.
They've
it
got
depends
a
on who
good
they
look.
face.
They've got a good look. They've got good chemistry. They're good wrestlers.
Right.
But just something about their gimmick, just like it just doesn't it just doesn't click, and that's anyways. Penta versus Roosh was on there. I always
that was a
forget.
fun match.
I always forget how big Roosh is. Like,
Yeah.
my brain thinks he's a cruiserweight, and then I see him in there against a cruiserweight in Penta, and I go,
He's like a super cruiserweight heavyweight.
he's big. He's very big.
Yeah, straight up.
But they also had the Dark Order come out and announce that they ain't going anywhere.
I'm sorry. Wasn't what's his face just on point though? How long are you guys gonna keep this up for? Until he's 19? Like, love him or hate him, he's got a fucking point.
Yeah, but I do hate him.
I mean, but he's still got a point.
Well, I mean, the thing is, he's got a point, except they already told you the point. He's got a contract once he turns 18.
Oh, but I'm gonna do it when I'm 19. Like, I don't know. I didn't mean to mock him like that, but I'm just tired of it. Yeah, but that's in what? How long ago? That's in what? 15 years? No, less than that. That's like in 12 years? No, less than that. That's like in 10 years?
No, it's like 7.
7?
I want to say.
How old is
I want to say he's 12
Isn't he 8?
right now.
Oh, he's 12.
I want to say he's like 12.
I mean, you expect that? You think the Dark Order is going to be around that long in 12 years or 7 years? Come on, man. This is not a thing. Just stop. End the Dark Order. Like, I'm sorry. I get it. Brody, rest in peace. But they're not doing anything. They won't be able to do anything. It's a harsh reality, and someone's got to say it. Because and I get it. Tony was in a really tough spot too when everything that did happen happened. And what do I do now with the Dark Order? But ultimately, they really haven't done anything since. And I don't know. I'm just feel like there's so many wrestlers there that can do so much more. But as long as they're in this group, they're not gonna be, going for tag team titles or getting TNT championship matches or, world title for anyone there at all. So I don't know.
So no, he was 8. So he's 10 right now. He was 8 when Brody Lee died.
Okay, so 8 years.
So 2 years ago. So 10.
Well,
so
yeah, will be 2 years. Will be 10
almost 2 years ago
in December sometime.
Yeah, but still no. Factions can last a long time. I disagree with you on the Dark Order thing. I think they've got a long-term game going with it where...
That's a real long... And I get AEW likes to go long-term. 7 years?
Well, no, that's going to be a different... We're talking about two different things because you're talking about how the Dark Order were obscure and they didn't do anything for the last 2 years and all that stuff. My point is that I think that's a long-term game. Since Brody Lee died, they're telling the story of the Dark Order is kind of lost. They no longer have a leader. What are they doing? All this stuff. And then the story is going to be there. I don't think they're ever going to have a new leader, but I think they're going to have someone come in and put them on a path again. And that someone, maybe Hangman Page, maybe because the story they're telling now is that he's reigniting their friendship. He's understanding that while he was champion, their friendship fell by the wayside, and he needs to come back. They had him come out in this segment to beat up on QT Marshall to save them, right? So that's a 2-year-long storyline from that. Now they can move on to establishing Dark Order as dominant in some faction. Right. And at that point, then that's another 2-year-long storyline. Then they've got another storyline that they could potentially do. I'm not guaranteeing that Dark Order will still be around in 8 years. It doesn't. But Brody Lee can still be around in 8 years.
Right.
Brody Lee, as he gets older, can be, the Dark Order as a whole can entirely change. Like Brody Lee could say, listen, I'm tired of you guys being losers. I'm kicking you all out. and I'm bringing in these new guys, and suddenly there's a whole new Dark Order coming. There's so much they can do with it. But this is playing off of it. The crowd still loves Brody Lee Jr. The only reason he was on this episode of the TV show is they were in their hometown, right?
Right. Exactly.
He's not going to be a regular on TV for the next 8 years. He's going to show up 2 to 3 times a year on TV, maybe a couple times on Dark, because I think they also have a vacation home in Florida. So he'll show up a couple times a year when they're near Rochester or New York, and when they're near Florida or whatever. And that's going to be it. He's just a secondary character. But they're going to take some time to reestablish the Dark Order. Now, I said it when Brody Lee died and they had the thing. The Dark Order was instantly forced into a face character, right?
Right.
Because there's so much love for Brody Lee, they could not be heels anymore. So they had to be faces for a while. Now they can start the turn back to heels if they want to, right?
Right.
So we had the unfortunate final breakup of the Acclaimed and the Gun Club, so we will not be getting any more Scissor Me Daddy Asses.
Well, there goes my Billy and Chuck theory. I'd initially thought that Bowens and Billy were going to be like another Billy and Chuck kind of thing.
Yeah. You were the only one who thought
Does it have to be Bowens?
Just because he was the one scissoring him. That's all. And then I'm like, oh, maybe they'll kind of make that a thing because it's obviously with one of the original members. And yeah.
I kind of knew they weren't going to do that specifically with Anthony Bowens, because Anthony Bowens is in actuality an openly gay guy.
Right.
And
that's fine,
they weren't going to turn the actuality of him being gay into a character. They're not going to turn it into a comedy bit, right? So I knew they weren't going to do that with them. But I did like Scissor Me Daddy Ass.
The thing is the scissoring of the fingers.
Yep. And I missed the Scissor Me Daddy Ass already.
Yeah.
And it hasn't even been gone a whole week yet.
No, that's it. Oh, well. I'm sure they'll come up. Someone else will scissor him. I'm sure of it.
Oh, yeah. He's going to continue getting scissored. No, I feel like we have to move on from this conversation now.
I feel bad that we didn't get a scissor earlier when we saw each other today, bud.
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. We'll scissor next time. Important to note that this match did also feature Leon Ruff, or as they called him, Leon Ruffin. Leon Ruff.
Tumble?
Ruff. Leon Ruff, of course, not too long ago was in NXT. And now he's not. He is now at least part-time working in AEW. So then we had Thunderstorm versus Nyla Rose and Marina Shafir. Thunderstorm, of course, being Thunder Rosa and Tony Storm, right? And I think it was David Bixabian online said you suppose any of them suggested Tony Rosa as their team name first, and like Tony Rosa instead of Thunderstorm.
Was Tony Rosa a thing?
Ooh.
Like, is that someone?
No, it's just making fun of the fact that
it's just making fun of how unoriginal it is. Yeah.
Yeah, they just took first name.
But also exceptional.
It works really well, yeah.
Yeah, it works well. Yeah, that's fair. Mm-hmm. I'd agree with that.
Sorry, I'm answering.
The Serena Deeb match was on Rampage? Or that was also on Dynamite? Serena Deeb and
Serena
Martinez?
Deeb must have been on Rampage, yes.
Oh.
Ooh, I feel like maybe our comments don't have Twitch comments don't have the doobly doos in them.
No, Twitch does not. That's what I'm working on. Chillax.
We apologize to the viewers on Twitch. Go get yourself an "I'm not big, I'm fun sized" shirt. Oh wait,
We
no,
have
that's
that?
not on there. No.
Boom.
I mean,
Just
we're
going
gonna
out to
make it
everyone.
now.
Everyone will get that link now. Boom. There you go. Links are
She
in
buys
the
a lot of
comments
random shit. She
and the
might certainly
doobly.
buy it.
Or "I'm not short, I'm fun sized." That's the more common one.
That's it. Yeah.
But I went with big, and it was in the
Yeah,
store,
'cause
and I bought it.
You're big. Do you tell people that I'm not big, I'm fun sized? Is that what you do?
I wear the shirt, motherfucker.
I'm not fat. I'm fluffy. Then we had what I considered a fairly good main event. Was Brody King going against Mox for the AEW championship. I do wish they'd have built up Brody King a little bit more first.
Yeah.
But him winning the battle royale, the what do they call it? The what did they call it? The Royale Rumble.
Right.
No, the Rampage, Royal Rampage.
Royal Rampage. That's it. Royal
Royal
Rampage.
Rampage.
Him winning. I loved the way he won versus that with of course Darby being the last person and him putting Darby out and Darby just hanging from him off the side. I just wish they would have used more time to build up Brody King, excuse me, as a monster. Like I wish they would have had him just in singles destroy a few other people first, and especially if they were building it up as is he going to be able to put Mox out with the same rear naked choke? Have him destroy a couple other people with a rear naked choke first, so that then they could tell this story that Mox was trying to keep away from it, trying to keep out of it. But I did like it.
I want to see Mox do an open challenge and guys fighting backstage to get out there first.
Yeah, I think that would be kind of cool, especially with
You never see that in open challenges. You see people waiting for somebody to come out. Like,
right.
Doesn't everybody want to take that opportunity?
Apparently not.
Not when it's
Moxley. Against Mox, I can admit that if I was a professional wrestler, I'd be like, "Do you see the blood and guts match? I mean, motherfucker brought glass and a fork to the ring."
Yeah. And frankly, I'm surprised he had any blood left to give after the amount that he gave at Forbidden Door. That match should have been just changed to called Guts.
Guts.
Just Guts.
That's all that's left.
Yeah, and no blood left for Mox, just Guts. But yeah, I just kind of watched, but I didn't watch Dynamite. Like I didn't really pay a ton of attention to it. I just kind of had it on. But the parts that I liked, the parts that I did watch, I did like. I know almost nothing about what happened on SmackDown, so you guys will have to fill me in on.
Yeah, that's all Fabe technically because I did not watch it either.
I will make the final admission of guilt that I did not watch it. I was the only manager at my job on Friday.
Oh, fair enough. From what I read, though,
McIntyre beat Butch.
Yeah, so I'm looking at this here. Roman Reigns has Brock Lesnar in his sights, in theory, lurking around the corner, it says. Drew McIntyre defeated Butch. Viking Raiders defeated Jinder Mahal and Shanky. And I think they're building Viking Raiders up maybe as a new heel team with new attitude and whatever.
Yeah, they even have a new theme song.
Yeah. Shinsuke defeated Ludwig Kaiser, and then I think Gunther punished Ludwig Kaiser afterwards, if I'm correct. I don't know. Liv Morgan celebrated, and then Natalya and Ronda Rousey interrupted her, and And then Ronda Rousey defeated Natalya again. And that's when they set up Liv Morgan versus Natalya for SmackDown next week. If Natalya wins, she gets a championship opportunity. And then at SummerSlam, it's going to be champion versus Ronda Rousey.
Max Dupree released his new team.
Yeah.
Well, he already released it. No? Didn't he release them last week?
He released his 2022 tennis collection, modeled by Maximum Models, May Dots and Man Super.
Yeah.
But an important event, it looks like it occurred with the Lacey Evans thing.
Yeah, she's a heel again.
Thank God.
Yep.
Usos defeated Angel Garza and my autography Humberto Carrillo.
Yeah, there's that.
See what I mean, though? SmackDown was just really trash. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, I do not know because I did not watch it. I'm just reading the results, but I'm not anxious for not watching it.
No, definitely not.
They're talking special guest referee for Street Profits versus.
Oh yeah, because the shoulder was up, but it wasn't up, but it was up, but it wasn't up, but it was up, but it wasn't up.
It's the ref's fault, man. You guys lost still. Yeah. Kick out, bitch.
Rampage had Eddie Kingston versus Konosuke Takeshita. Jeez, I have a hard time remembering that. Anyways,
fire match.
Great match.
Absolute fire match.
I really, really wish, and I know it's not going to happen because if I'm correct, Konosuke is set to return at some point to DDT in Japan. But if I had any control, Takeshita would stay forever. He is so
fight forever.
Good. He is so fucking good.
Yeah.
And I love that.
This was his first time. No, this was not his first time wrestling in AEW.
No, he's wrestled a few other times. Well, let's find out according to Cage Match. That's good to catch the Cage Match. Let's see. Matches. In AEW, there's Eddie Kingston, and then he went off to PWG, and then he was in the Royal Rampage.
Oh shit, he was
in that one. And then he was at AEW Dark. He defeated Anthony Henry, and he was in the Casino Battle Royal, and he defeated on AEW Dark Nick Comoroto, and on AEW Dark Elevation he defeated Ryan Nemeth. And on Dynamite he lost to Adam Page back in May. And then prior to that he lost on a Rampage to Jay Lethal. And but he then prior had won on Dark Elevation against Rhett Titus, and he beat Brandon Cutler, because everyone does. And then so back in April he was in Japan at DDT Pro. So April 20th he 420 he started on Dark Elevation here. And I just would absolutely love for him to stay, but I know he's gonna eventually go back to DDT, and that's gonna make me sad.
And DDT is in Japan though.
Yeah,
right. Okay.
And DDT is fun. DDT, I really need to find a way to consistently watch DDT. DDT is it's the company that had the match where Kenny Omega wrestled the 9-year-old girl.
Oh, okay.
It's also the one that has an actual character who's a blow up doll,
Right.
and has had matches against Cesaro and against Bryan Danielson and Kenny Omega and I mean pretty much anyone has had matches against I think the blow up doll is technically a him,
Oh, okay.
but they've got my favorite one of their championships is called the I gotta find it here because I want to make sure I'm saying Jesus, they got a lot of championships. It's the heavy metal weight. I'm trying to remember. There's something, but open heavy metal weight maybe. And it's a 24/7 championship match or thing that Iron Man heavy metal weight championship. It is I love it. Iron Man heavy metal weight. And it is a 24/7 championship that has been defended in restaurants and it was originally created as a parody of the WWF Hardcore title, right? But they've done it in as of June 1st, there have been 1,550 officially recognized reigns between 392 different people. 392 different ones. 7 teams and 44 inanimate objects have won the belt, including animals. I'm trying to think. Only 147 individuals have held the title for longer than a day, though. But let's see here. There's been a monkey, a dachshund, a cat, named
a dachshund.
Dotson.
Yeah, dachshund. A ladder has held it. A stuffed Hello Kitty doll has held the championship. Another stuffed doll beat the first stuffed doll. A baseball bat. A chicken doll. A Pro Wrestling Wave poster. The Big Japan Pro Wrestling ring truck. Ringside mat. A pint of beer. 3 different sticks of yakitori. 2 different steel chairs. Yoshihiko and the inflatable love doll has held it multiple times. Vince McMahon's Hollywood Walk of Fame star held it.
Oh my God.
A bus, the camera
How's that
crane.
happen?
Well, the bus hit the person, and then the person was underneath it.
Vince McMahon's star.
I will have to watch to find out. I don't know.
And he's very excited.
The belt itself has held the belt. It was its own world champion for a while.
Oh,
A pork bun, a pair of chopsticks, a beer can, an apple.
oh.
The
Say an apple day
invisible
keeps the doctor
wrestler.
away. Oh, vacant.
Actually, 2 different invisible wrestlers. Arnold Sketchenjanaker, an invisible wrestler, and then the Invisible Man won at once. And then there have been collective champions, including 3 elementary school girls.
Jesus Christ.
The Addiction, later known as SoCal Uncensored, Christopher Daniels and Frankie Kazarian, held it together. The entire audience of Beyond Wrestling's American Rana 16. The Young Bucks and their autobiography. And the 100,000 subscribers to DDT's official YouTube channel were champions at one point too.
Nice.
It's bonkers. And that's a
Yeah.
DDT Pro thing.
That
But
shit sounds just too stupid for me.
here is a list of all of the current championships in DDT Pro, right? The KOD Openweight Championship, the DDT Universal Championship, the DDT Extreme Championship, the KOD Tag Team Championship, the KOD 6-Man Tag Team Championship, the KOD 10-Man Tag Team Championships, the O40 Championship, and the Iron Man Heavy Metalweight Championship, which I just talked about. So that is 8 different championships in this thing. The O40 is specifically a wrestling championship only for wrestlers over 40.
You could do it.
I could do it.
You can finally be a champion.
Nah, I actually probably couldn't.
If the audience could and a stop sign could, you got this.
No, I'd have to go after the Iron Man Heavy Metalweight Championship to get that.
Fair
Because
point.
that's the only one that has those rules. Anyways, I just know that Konosuke is going to head back to DDT Pro, and so I'm going to have to find a way to watch it so I can keep watching DDT.
Yeah, no, that was a real fire match.
He is great. You had Gates of Agony versus Lee Moriarty and Jonathan Gresham. Gates of Agony, of course, is the new tag team on the Tully Blanchard Enterprises, which is Toa. What's it? What's his name? I've got to make sure I'm Toa Leona. Excuse me. And Khan. And I've mentioned Khan before. Khan has the look, so I hope they go big. Although I think they're going to end up in Ring of Honor when that relaunches. And of course, Jonathan Gresham is currently the Ring of Honor champion. And the big surprise out of this is Jonathan Gresham turned on his partner and left the ring so that he got beat up by Gates of Agony. And so they put together a Lee Moriarty versus Jonathan Gresham match for Death Before Dishonor.
But I think that was already happening. That match was already happening, and that's why he just turned on him anyways. Though.
No, the story going into this was it was Tully Blanchard Enterprises was challenging, and so this match was supposed to figure out whether Tully Blanchard Enterprises, someone from them, would challenge Jonathan Gresham. That was the storyline that they had going into this.
Oh, okay.
Which everyone thought it was going to end up being Brian Cage, who's also in Tully Blanchard Enterprises, versus Jonathan Gresham.
This happened in
when they announced Tully Blanchard Enterprises.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Shit. Okay.
He was just standing there the entire time. It was Tully Blanchard, Brian Cage, Toa Leona, and Khan all there together, all in one. Anyways, but Jonathan Gresham walked out and turned on his friend and partner. So now it's official there. Then you had Serena Deeb and Mercedes Martinez versus 2 people I don't know.
This is the most interesting women's thing going on. I love the fact that they hate each other, but they're great as a tag team. I know this has been done, but these two are doing this perfectly.
Yeah.
And give me more of this. I absolutely love this. I was excited that this was a thing, and this is absolutely something I am interested in with the women's division. And give me. I don't know who came up with this. I feel like this has been a thing in the past. But man, I'm interested. Yes, please. Finally, something I can cheer on for the women's division. Okay, I'm done.
I'm going to point out, though, that this is specifically the Ring of Honor women's division going on right now. So,
so it's not even an AEW thing.
Well, I mean, they're AEW wrestlers, but Mercedes Martinez is the Ring of Honor interim women's champion. And so.
But Serena Deeb is AEW. I feel like this is an AEW storyline, though. I know Martinez is an ROH champion, but Yeah, well,
I mean,
we'll see what happens.
they're facing off for the belt at Death Before Dishonor.
Deeb
Ring
and
of Honor. Yeah, Deeben
Yeah.
Martinez.
It's almost like he read that off or something earlier.
oh, okay, my bad.
Almost. Not a guarantee.
And then the final match of the night for Rampage was Orange Cassidy versus Tony Nese.
Which also really fucking fun and
So much fun.
so much fun, and freaking Danhausen just keeps me always so interested. Sometimes I think he's silly stupid, but then I'm like, no, I'm back in it. Him and Orange Cassidy work so well together, and they just got to keep that going on as well. And Cassidy's such a great wrestler. Not only is he comedic genius with what he does, this man can go, and he's been showing that the past few matches he's been doing. And yeah, like this was also an awesome Rampage main event.
Yeah, I mean Danhausen cursing Tony Nese and then Tony Nese losing was great. Danhausen hitting Mark Sterling's in the balls was fun.
Yeah.
Danhausen has now
punching him straight in the balls.
Danhausen has now proclaimed that he now has inherited special lawyering powers from Smart Mark Sterling. And so he petitioned FTR if they needed help. And they needed his special lawyering powers to get their AEW World Tag Team Title Championship shot. So I think that's funny as hell. Like, we'll take all the help we can get.
Yeah, that's it for sure.
But I've said it since we first watched Orange Cassidy. DA Fabe has said it. The whole gimmick with him is that he doesn't necessarily want to wrestle hard, but when he has to, he can fucking go.
Go, yeah.
He does want to win. He just doesn't want to put any effort into it.
And dare I say, better Superman punch than Roman Reigns.
Dare you say? That's not even a dare, dude. That's
No?
You
Okay, I
do
don't know. I
dare.
figured.
foregone conclusion. I say.
Okay. Okay. That's fair. I don't know. I just thought because of how he is, his build, and so on, some people might not maybe believe the Superman punch.
Well, it's not
so I don't
called
know.
the Superman punch, so let's just get that shit out of your hair.
Oh, okay. What is it generally
Orange
called?
punch.
Oh, okay. No, but I mean, generally, the wrestling term for it is a Superman punch. No,
Your wrestling term is a Superman punch.
it
Yeah.
is
Yeah, I refer to it as the orange punch
the orange
because it's
punch,
delivered by.
the orange crush.
Maybe it is called the orange. Is it called the orange crush or orange punch?
I don't think it is. I feel like they'd get sued. It's called the orange punch.
Orange punch.
Orange crush is one of his other maneuvers, if I remember correctly.
Probably. Sounds about orangey.
But it was a fun.
Again, we need an Orange Juice Robinson tag team.
And they need to go against the Orange Juice Machine operator, the OJMO, sometime.
And they got to be held from Orange County. No.
Do you know what state Orange County is in?
California.
Well, that depends on which Orange County you're referring to, because there's
Technically speaking, there's one in California and one in New York.
also one
I
in
was
Florida.
definitely referring to the.
Oh,
there's
there's
also one in Florida too. Yeah,
Yep.
I think I was referring to the one in Florida.
The New York one is interesting because when you hear Orange County and then the phrase Orange County Choppers, right? That's referring to the New York Orange County.
Yes.
Ha. There you go. Learn something new every day. Nice.
Well,
You know.
I try not to, but here I am.
Sometimes. Besides that, we got more Vince McMahon news, guys. I don't know if you want to dive into that.
Oh, please do.
It's-
Yes, let's hear it.
It's not more news. It's just continuing
Right.
the news. It's when the news broke a couple weeks ago, they said that they're also investigating other and now it's come out $12 million more in other.
Right.
So Just so you know, there's also an Orange County in Indiana, and in North Carolina, and in Texas, and in Vermont, and in Virginia. So there are 8
oranges.
states that have Orange County. Now, how many of those states actually grow oranges? I'm gonna say 2.
I'm gonna say 2. Yep, I'm gonna go with 2.
There's a chance North Carolina, but it's slim.
Yeah,
But it's coastal enough and fair enough. But I doubt
they
it.
grow cuties there.
Possibly, yeah, clementine.
Yeah.
But anywho's, yeah. So $12 million more that they've discovered he's paid. Here's the deal. So the $12 million is the big headline that everyone likes to point at and be like, well, that's a lot of money. The paying the money is not the illegal part. The paying the money is fine. I mean, we can be surprised by it and we can be shocked by it and everything. The real thing from this that we need to take is that some of that money was to silence actual sexual assault, not because that's the deal with the $3 million one from before. The $3 million one from before was theoretically a consensual relationship. I've mentioned before, you can't have a truly consensual relationship when someone's your boss, but still, from a legal standpoint, it was a consensual relationship that when it broke up, he paid money to keep her quiet. That's one thing, right? But in these latest ones that have come out, there's actual sexual assault in it. And actual retaliation for refusing sexual assault or for fighting against sexual assault.
Don't
Which is
touch
legal
my
or no?
buttocks.
And
Which
those,
is illegal or no? Because she still had an NDA, right? So there was still an NDA involved. Like, I don't get how this NDA is a thing. If you commit a crime but you have an NDA, you're like scot-free? What the fuck is this?
So no and yes, because America is fucked up. Here's the deal. An NDA by law cannot is not supposed to be able to protect you from a crime, right?
Right.
If you commit a crime, an NDA shouldn't protect you. But an NDA can shame people into not reporting the crime. And if you don't report the crime, then the person gets away with it. And so the problem is, and I think a lot of it's just because people don't always know their own rights, especially people in monetary problem, because they often come from a situation where they just don't learn this stuff. Because people don't know their rights, they assume that an
So if you
NDA
sign the
is all binding.
NDA, you can no longer report it, but
NDA stands for non-disclosure agreement, meaning you're not allowed to talk about something. But courts have, for a long time, upheld that an NDA cannot stop you from reporting a crime. If a crime happened and you signed an NDA and then you go and report the crime, you are not considered in violation of the NDA because it was a law that was broken and everything. And that's my point. But because people don't know that, people don't know it and don't understand it, the NDA can be very effective in America because people don't know what their rights are, right?
okay.
Right. And that's the deal is, so in these situations, because someone thinks they're not allowed to talk about something, they don't talk about it. And even though they did sign an NDA, because it was an actual crime, they're not able to get in trouble for reporting it. And the reason that law is written this way is that way you can't get hired by a company. And when you get hired by the company, a lot of companies in America make you sign NDAs when you get hired, right?
Right.
That you're not allowed to talk about the stuff. And you get hired by this company, and then you come in and you see that they're manufacturing meth, right? The NDA cannot prevent you from reporting the crime that happened, right?
Oh, okay.
So legally, if a crime happened, he can still get reported for it regardless of the NDA, and he can still get in trouble for it. However, What he relies on is people not knowing that and going, well, crap, I signed an NDA, so I can't report this.
Fuck. I don't get, and I'm sure there's so many other cases, allegedly. So many other cases.
Allegedly.
You know what I mean? How does not one fucking person know that? Like, I get it. He's a powerful man, though, and he'll fuck up your career. I absolutely get that.
When powerful men do stuff every day and get away with it because they put the fear of God into people, right? And that's what it came down to. These people, they accepted this money, so now they feel guilty because they accepted this money for a crime. Now they feel like they're a part of it because they took this money, right? But they were in a financial situation. They needed the money, you know. In the case of one of these, they just got fired from their job, you know, because of this. And so they say, you know what, I need the money now. I don't have any other sorts of income. I'm in a tough situation. He's doing this. I'll sign the NDA and I'll just move on with my life, right?
And he won't ever touch my buttocks again.
Yes. It's all in the past now. So, yeah.
Which is unfortunately the mentality of some situations like that, where people are like, well, it won't happen again because I don't have to be around him anymore. So,
but that's just so not true. All that trauma and post-traumatic stress that you're gonna deal with afterwards, even if it's all behind you, all that is still there, man.
Creepy old guy hits on you. You know, that's, I don't know how much. Well, there's probably trauma involved in that. But
there's definitely trauma. I mean, doing something you don't want to do,
leveraging of a person, disgusted. There's always some. I don't know.
Yeah. I hope that dick pic gets released, so everyone can Photoshop his.
I will say, hands down, I have no desire to see Vince McMahon.
I have a prediction, and that prediction is we're gonna see Vince McMahon on every episode of WWE TV. From now,
we didn't see him on SmackDown though.
We didn't see him on SmackDown, but that was just that same day.
Was it? Oh, okay.
You know, the report came out on Friday, and so lay low on one day, but then he's gonna start coming out every week just to prove that he's still the man.
And reportedly,
we can get people on my side if I'm in front of them. Ha! Boy, I was astonished when we went to the live show and Vince came out in Lincoln. The pop was stout.
That and ultimately that's kind of the problem is in his mind that's confirmation that we don't care. That just proves that he's still popular and the public doesn't care that he did these things. And I would argue that the public and wrestling fans are not the same thing. Right?
Yeah, but at the same time, you're not seeing any other news reported. CNN gave like a 3-minute thing on it. Aside from inside
most
the wrestling community
on news channels is very, very short. Really, you have to be in the
to have a war with Ukraine,
the long form discussion location, or in politics to get long term coverage of a thing.
Also, I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna try to say it in a way that doesn't demean anyone listening to the show or following this. But in the grand scheme of things, professional wrestling is small potatoes for big things.
Absolutely.
Like he's a billionaire. Don't get me wrong.
And I mean,
and
this
millions
is almost...
of people watch his product, but there's 320 some million people in America. And Raw gets maybe 2 million people watch, you know. So there's a lot of people who don't give a fuck about Vince McMahon, whether he's sexually.
Well, I mean, a CEO of a big enterprise, though. Forget about
Elon
wrestling.
Musk has been accused of rape multiple times, and you don't see that on the news. And he's a bigger CEO than Vince McMahon.
He also apparently wants to stop buying Twitter too.
I also will point out, though, that in the grand scheme of things, there is severe undercoverage of rape and sexual sexual assault accusations
Fair,
as a whole,
yeah.
right?
That's
they
fair,
don't
yeah.
they don't get the coverage. Elon Musk backing out of a $44 million deal to buy
Billion.
billion. Excuse me. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
To $44 billion deal to buy Twitter is big news, and they'll cover that all the fucking day.
Right.
Elon Musk hiding sexual assault allegations. No one cares about that, right? So that's the unfortunate thing with the news cycle in America is
Fair. Yeah.
that just falls by the wayside, unfortunately. Yes, but he's backing out of buying Twitter, or trying to, and he's trying to claim that this falls under the loophole that doesn't require him to pay Twitter $1 billion, and they're saying, nope. If you agreed to buy us for $44 billion, and then there's a breakup deal.
Now Twitter stock is at like $30 a share.
And there's a breakup clause in this that if you stop the deal, then you owe us $1 billion just for our trouble. And in the grand scheme of things, I hope Twitter takes them to court. I hope it goes all the way to court, and I hope he's forced to pay that $1 billion to get out. Here's the deal, though. I'm gonna say something here. I think he's gonna end up paying the $1 billion, and he's not gonna give a fuck. And do you know why?
Because he liquefied some assets really fast.
Liquefied $9 billion of Tesla stock so that he could do this $44 billion buyout deal. And because he was leveraging it for another stock buy deal, it was able to get pushed through faster when Tesla was at record highs. So I'll ask you something, JLB. If I said, give me $1 and I'm going to give you $9, is that a good deal for you?
Give me $1 and I'm going to give you $9 that will be worth $6 later.
Yeah. Even if it's just $9, let's take the worth out of it. Give me $1 and I'll give you back $9. You're going to take that deal, right?
Of course.
Give me $10 and I'll give you back $90. You're going to take that
Absolutely.
deal. Give me $1 billion.
Yeah, he's not
and I'm
losing
going to give you back $9 billion. Right? Fuck, I'll do that deal every day. Right?
Hold on, let me go get a loan.
Yeah, that's in the end what he's doing here. Even if he has to pay the $1 billion to Twitter, Twitter's going to be happy because they got $1 billion. And he's going to be like, but I still got $9 billion. On top of the other billions that he has, right? But he made himself $9 billion richer in the process of doing this, even if he ends up having to pay
$9 billion more liquid.
Yep, liquid dollars.
The amount he made himself richer really is only relevant to how much did Tesla stock go down. And we can look that up, but we're not gonna because this is a wrestling podcast.
Ultimately, it comes down to this. It's important to say liquid because when we talk about someone's net worth, that's not liquid. That's all. Most of that's tied up in stock and other assets and stuff like that.
Real estate,
real estate or whatever. But $9 billion of liquid assets, $9 billion cashy money. You could work. I think I saw the thing. You could make $100 an hour, and work your entire life and not make $1 billion. You know what I mean? People sometimes don't understand how big $1 billion really is, right?
It's 1,000 millions.
Yes, it's 1,000.
It's 100,000
million.
100,000.
Yeah.
No, sorry. It's 10,000, 100,000. But 9 billion is nearly 100,000, 100,000.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
if you make $100,000 a year, you'd have to do that for 100,000 years to get $1 billion. Or to get $10 billion, sorry.
Bam. All right, so on to wrestling.
Back to wrestling. Hey, you're the one who had to bring up Elon.
I didn't. Yes, I did, but I didn't realize you guys were going to go into a rant about it. I just thought it was fun fact news, just in case someone didn't know, and then you guys brought it into a whole Bible.
It's almost like we talked about it today for 25 minutes. Hey, Smarks, did we talk about that for 25 minutes?
We talked about it for a fair amount of time. I don't know.
To be fair, I wasn't here for it.
To be fair.
To be fair.
To be fair.
To be fair.
Yes. Oh, fuck.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah. If you got
if
you got $1, if you got $1, just like if you got $1 a second,
That's $86,400 a day.
yeah. So let me do this again. 1 billion divided by, what was that?
400.
It would take you 11,574 days.
Divide that by 365.
That's like 15 years or something.
That's 32 years.
32 years. I did my math wrong. Yep.
If you got $1 a second, it would still take you 32 years.
Fuck.
To earn $1 billion.
Oh, fuck.
$1 a second.
That's crazy.
Yes. That's how big $1 billion is. And he just made 9 of those.
Again, liquidated.
Yeah.
That's fun.
Liquidated, but he just made it. That's cashy money now that he has. He could give someone, right now could give someone $1 a second for not just 32 years, but 32 years times 9. Right?
Yeah. Yeah. Straight up.
That's fucking, it's fucking nuts how much $1 billion is. So anyways, I don't have much else wrestling to talk. I don't know if you guys do, but
well, I feel like at least like a game or something.
Well, I mean, Sasha
Tuesdays are
Banks.
game day.
Yeah.
Sasha Banks and Naomi officially no longer part of the rosters.
Well, internally,
Yeah, but
and still
officially not
rumored.
part of the internal rosters, right?
Right.
Now we still don't know if they have no competes, right? They probably do, but the fact that especially in Sasha's case, lawyers were involved could mean that that they don't, like that they negotiated their way out without no competes. We don't know. And we'll only truly know if there's an announcement made or if one of them shows up on another show.
Facts. Well, I mean, at the same time, Naomi, I think, did have something on her Instagram story where
Naomi's hinted very heavily that she's done. You know, that she's free. I think
I will not be bought. I will not be whatever, or I don't remember the quote. But yeah, so that seems most likely because we all kind of thought Naomi was probably going to stay just because of her relationship with Jay or Jimmy or one of them. But no, it looks like they're both out of here.
Mm-hmm. So, you know me, I'm not like a Naomi fan. So I don't give a crap if she shows up. I don't want her to show up on AEW. But I will say one thing. If only from an exposure standpoint, her showing up on Impact Wrestling would be a big deal. From an Impact Wrestling exposure standpoint.
I think that's a fair point. Yep.
So
Jordan Grace would beat the shit out of her, but you know.
Yeah. Jordan Grace. Oh, geez.
Oh,
that's talk about. Oh, geez. Yeah. You just.
I mean, was she wrong?
Well, I think she was wrong, but at the same point, she has a point. So,
yeah.
DFA, did you see Jordan Grace's tweet this week?
Oh, know how often I'm on Twitter.
She tweeted out
Considering that's your only source of social media, you would think you would be.
She tweeted out that she'd probably lose some followers. Here's her hot take. That I want to read it word for word because
do it. Did she delete it though? I think she deleted it.
I doubt it. Jordan Grace, because she got a lot of crap for it, but gotta scroll past all the thirst traps on it. I'll come back to them later.
Yeah, straight up.
I've been waiting
for me to find this tweet.
Post to be read aloud online.
Fuck. Oh, maybe she did delete it. I don't know.
Here, let's just look up what did Jordan Grace say this.
Yeah, she must have deleted it because I don't find.
Yeah, but there's definitely a screenshot somewhere.
Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure. Trying to think who I could.
Chavo, no, but it doesn't matter because Chavo was the one that retweeted it, but it doesn't matter if she deleted her tweet. That's gone too, because he would have retweeted it in a quote.
His tweet might still be up, but hers could disappear.
That's what I'm saying.
But he
was this in regards to why she? No.
This is in regards to Chris Benoit and how he
it's in regards to Chris Benoit is what it is. And so, anyways, I don't know have the exact one, but she said here's my unpopular opinion, and people will yell at me for this, but Chris Benoit couldn't hang with the wrestlers of today, and we shouldn't talk about him anymore or whatever. Let me see if I can.
Ooh, Conan was pissed about it.
What did Conan say about it?
I don't know. I'd have to listen to an 8-minute.
Oh.
Well, I mean, here's the okay.
Like Conan wasn't on her side, but I guess
Conan on his
agree
podcast. But here's Conan was a friend of Chris Benoit, so
right.
And
this is going to be the coldest take I ever tweet on this app. I already know y'all going to be mad. I don't think Chris Benoit could 100% hang with most of the present day best wrestlers. He would not be able to remember matches. Also, may he burn in hell. Amen.
So, and here's what I'm going to say is she's wrong, but she does have a point here. She's wrong to say that Chris Benoit couldn't hang with the wrestlers today. Chris Benoit,
today's structure is very scripted, and what she's saying is he had CRT and he couldn't remember.
Well,
and then
but no,
is making a hot take about.
She's also saying that he couldn't hang prior to the CTE, right? She's saying that he wouldn't be able to at any point. That he's not as good a wrestler as the ones today. That being said, he 100% prior to the CTE affecting his memory and stuff like that. I think he could have. If we're talking Chris Benoit from 1996 or Chris Benoit from 1997, he 100% could hang with any of the wrestlers today. But the next part of it that she says, maybe I'm biased because he murdered his family. I don't know. Probably just me. I think we should all hate him and disregard his entire body of work. But again, that's just my take. I've always found it revolting to see people praise his wrestling after what he did. Proving a point. I said something very lightly critical about him. People jumped to defend him. He should never be defended. Dude lost that right when he gave a 7-year-old Xanax and strangled him while he was already unconscious.
Facts.
And the thing is, she's got points, but at the same point, there is...
But it's just like, why bring it up?
Well, yeah, why bring it up? But no, here's what I always say is we have to remember we can't fully separate Chris Benoit partially because what made him a good wrestler led to the CTE, right? He took risks. He did moves that were really high impact that led with his head, right? And that caused it. But it also is a big point to say, without Chris Benoit and the CTE that he struggled with and eventually played into the absolutely horrific thing that he did, our protocols for CTE in wrestling today would be a lot laxer, and we'd probably have it happen more, right? And so even with the horrible thing that he did, he led to greater good in the long run. But we can't take away his accomplishments prior to this bad thing that he did just because he did something horrible later on. That being said, we also can't hold him up on a pedestal because we have to remember he did these horrible, horrible things. And so she's got a point in that we can't hold him up on this pedestal because we have to understand. I just think his thing, we should all hate him and disregard his entire body of work. Struggles with the fact that the thing that he did was not in control of himself when he did it, right? He had the
and that's
brain,
not making an excuse.
It's not making an excuse. His brain was Swiss cheese. And he didn't remember what he was doing. And then, to be perfectly honest, that's probably why he killed himself afterwards. Is because he came out of it and realized what had happened and realized that he had done this horrible thing and couldn't live with himself anymore, and rightfully so. So the Chris Benoit thing is a really tough thing, and we've struggled with it on this podcast before, because we do have to understand that his matches in the late 90s and mid 90s were above and beyond what other people were doing at the time. But we also have to understand that he did a very, very horrible thing, and maybe it's better if we don't talk about him. You know, and so I think that's kind of her point is, you know, maybe regardless of how good his matches were, maybe we just should not talk about him anymore. Right. I just think the problem is she started it off with saying that he couldn't do what the others do, and he 100% could have prior to the CTE eating his brain away. But in the end, we do also have to remember that the fact that he did all this stuff, and we now know the CTE played into it heavily, has led to better testing, better concussion protocol, better, safer matches that don't impact the head as much. I still, to this day, get whenever I see anyone do a flying headbutt. Like, now that we know how bad that was for
in this
him,
very Canadian destroyer world, I cringe.
Yeah. Well, and that's, I mean, in frank honesty, it's part of why I don't like pile drivers in general, right?
Yeah.
Because, you know, there's a lot of potential for it. So, anyways. But yeah, she really, really got a lot of people upset with it. And Gail Kim responded, controversial for sure. I disagree, though, with the take of hanging with the best of the best today. He most certainly could, and I saw someone comment Kurt Angle couldn't either. He would mop the floor with everyone. Wrestling is subjective. Benoit, to me, was an intense wrestler's wrestler. I loved his aggression as well. I enjoyed most of his matches. Depends on the opponent.
But she's entitled to her opinion.
She is entitled to her opinion. And, you know.
What was Chavo's take on it, though?
I'm trying to see if I can find his take.
Because I feel like Chavo got, like, ultra offended. And I get Chavo's really close to the scenario with Eddie and everything. And that was, you know, part of why Benoit was also so fucking distraught and took so much other medication too. Dude was like heartbroken and was never the same after the whole Eddie thing. So yeah, I don't know. It's just maybe she said what she said in that kind of way too, as she was having
Wait a minute,
conversation
Benoit
with
happened
someone.
before Eddie, didn't it? Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Benoit happened
called
after Eddie.
Benoit called Eddie.
No, Benoit called Chavo. Eddie was already dead. Eddie died a year and a half prior. Come on, guys. One job. Do you not remember Benoit crying like crazy with the "I'm Your Papi" shirt on Raw for Eddie's goodbye? Come on, guys. One job.
Yeah, Eddie Guerrero died in 2005, and Benoit was 2007.
2007.
So.
Yeah.
Well, guess I'm guilty.
Yep.
I was
Guilty.
Whoa.
I wasn't
Was
commenting because I
wrong.
couldn't remember, so I was looking it up.
So mad. I wanted to prove you wrong so badly.
Yeah.
He did
You proved him
comment.
wrong.
It's
I
on
just
a
sat here
recording.
going, I'm not going to say anything because I don't
It's
remember.
on a recording. He did comment. You got your little victory there, guy.
Thank you.
Chavo Guerrero just said, I think Jordan Grace lost a lot of wrestling credibility from some of her comments. And I think that's where I think a lot of people's thing is that what he did was horrible, but it does not negate what he was prior to that, right? It doesn't take away his wrestling ability. He did a horrible thing, and he should 100% burn in hell for it, and all of that stuff. I agree with all of that stuff, but it's not like because he did this horrible thing, it retroactively went back and made all his matches bad, right?
Right.
And that's, I think, where a lot of people's problems are, because it made her look like she didn't understand how good his matches were prior to everything going downhill.
Well,
But
and
the-
she
we
didn't
mentioned Eddie
necessarily
Guerrero.
say.
We mentioned Eddie Guerrero. These are both examples of how sometimes it took bad things to happen to lead to good things happening in the long run. Eddie Guerrero, part of why he died was because he was bulking up way more than his heart was ready to take, right? Because he wanted to be a heavyweight so that he could be this big muscular man for the main event, right? And that was too hard for his heart. And it's led to better knowledge of how to bulk up for wrestling, how to make yourself main event ready, and more specifically, it led to understanding that you don't necessarily need to be a 300-pound muscle machine to be a main eventer, right?
Right.
If we didn't gain the knowledge from that happening, we wouldn't have necessarily people like Kenny Omega, who's one of the best wrestlers in the world, and maybe 230 pounds, you know? Maybe a little more than that. I don't know what his build weight is, but he's definitely not a 300-pound,
No.
muscle thing. Build weight at 224 pounds.
Oh, nice.
So, and that's the deal, is we, as a culture, we had to kind of learn that maybe we don't need our wrestlers to be. Now, that's not saying we can't have big heavyweight wrestlers like a Bobby Lashley or whatever, but it is meaning
Right.
that if someone is a 220-pound wrestler, that doesn't necessarily preclude him from being main event, because Eddie Guerrero was a 205-pound wrestler who decided he needed to be a 250-pound wrestler to look the part of the main eventer. And I say decided. He had a lot of pressure. Pressure from above. Pressure from a guy named Vince McMahon. Because Vince McMahon likes his main eventers to be big, beefy guys. You know?
Be right back. I gotta go pee. Just letting you know, since I'm not on camera.
That's fine. Well, I think we're about ready to wrap up, too. So, you go
Well,
pee.
I've got an unboxing once he gets back.
Oh. An unboxing?
An
What could it
unboxing.
be? What could it possibly be?
It's almost like you saw it earlier today.
It's almost like I saw it earlier today. Could it possibly be something you were holding up just a little bit ago?
Yeah, something exclusive.
Something exclusive. What?
What? Something that somebody thinks is worth $102 on Mercari
Well,
that you can currently buy at Walmart.
yeah. Well, supply and demand. And in Nebraska, it might not have the demand, but it definitely has the supply. Um,
Yeah, if you can actually pick up, like if there's a bid on this eBay one, this pair from eBay, there is no existing bids for it.
yeah, the red is the Walmart exclusive. Um, you know,
How exciting. How
like
exciting.
I said, I have one. It's one of the few action figures that I haven't unboxed. In fact, it might be the only one I haven't unboxed because I'm a firm believer that they need to be played with. Number one,
But
that's what
there
toys
is
are meant
an
for.
assumption that this will reach a value.
But with this one, there's an assumption because it was announced and released right as he left the company.
I'm
Yes.
back.
It is also a Walmart exclusive, which theoretically means rarer.
And
And
now you can get both of them at Walmart out here
mhm.
in the boonies. But I will do an unboxing.
Ooh.
Which also
Yes.
will make the other ones rarer in box. So you are actually improving the value of mine.
Yes. So, ladies and gentlemen, I have the AEW exclusive, Walmart exclusive, Cody Rhodes that we're going to unbox. I have already been cutting the tape so I can open the box.
Let it breathe, my friend.
So, the big thing is, I'm also going to tell anybody who is curious about getting one of these what the poster is.
Oh.
Because there is a poster in it as well. So, here is the exclusive poster that I will roll out in a moment. Along with the American Nightmare Cody Rhodes action figure.
This is the LJN style, which means you can't do any posing with it.
Oh, he's stuck.
He is in
Which
that
means
position.
you can't what? Oh, really? You can't
no
move 'em?
posability.
Oh
I
my
will
god.
point out it does have,
The neck tat.
in fact, the neck tat
Oh,
as well as the
Jesus.
dream tat. It is LJN. His face looks nothing like Cody Rhodes,
Nope.
but a little bit like the blow up doll from
It looks like
from.
Yoshiko.
He's got a hand taped. He does have stand holes. And then this is, of course, the exclusive red trunks or tights that are the Walmart exclusive. Smarks, since you don't know, the back does have the word nightmare on that belt.
Mm-hmm.
And for any of our female fans, there is Cody Rhodes' butt.
Hey.
Maybe not in actual proportion because I don't think he really looks like that in actual proportion. But the real question is, what are you not seeing that's in the bag? And so we're about to find that out as soon as I can figure out how to open this poster.
Yeah, that poster looks really tightly rolled up. Oh my god.
Wrestling in the 80s versus wrestling now.
Unless you're the announcer at Triple Mania.
Did he recently get caught with some blow?
No, I think he's just always coked up.
No, at the last Triple Mania, they cut to him in the booth, and you could see lines of it on the desk in front of him.
All right, are we ready to see the exclusive poster that comes with this? this action figure will have the exclusive poster that I'm sure has been shown on another unboxing show, but we're going to show you the exclusive Cody Rhodes Wrestling Superstars.
The main event.
Main event tonight. This
that's
is
pretty cool.
AEW sub. And I would assume that the blue one has blue tights on the poster. Perhaps we'll have to find out.
That's a good guess. I think I'm going to go to Walmart tomorrow and check that out.
AEW exclusive for Walmart.
Nice. Thank you for
by
waiting
ratio, looks like maybe he has Scott Steiner's arms put on him.
Big Papa Bump. Who's your daddy?
That is
Yes,
the
I'll
announcer
even
at
show
Triple
that
Mania.
With lines of blow right next to him, huh?
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome.
It's well, that's a way to pull it off, I suppose.
I mean, no wonder he's always so excited.
With the Fox Sports logo right behind him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a great match. Everyone's gonna be a goal.
That's crazy.
That's messed up.
Whoops. I never noticed shit like that in pictures. There was one on a Facebook group that I'm in. No, I don't have a Smarks Facebook or a Fave Facebook.
Darn right, you don't have a Smarks Facebook. That's mine.
But in a Facebook group I'm in, I saw one where a girl was modeling her dress to her family, and what I assume, based on the size of the breast, was mom was sitting on the couch entirely topless.
But nobody noticed.
Well, I mean,
someone eventually noticed.
They would have had to been looking at her belly button to see the breasts. So,
oh Jesus Christ!
It was not an enjoyable photo, but it was there.
You know what we've said before about guys and boobs.
Yes,
Ron White said it best.
Once you've seen one pair of them,
you pretty much want to see them all.
Sometimes you just want to see them to say, "Hey, that's good."
Yeah, it's
put those away now.
Do your boobs hang low? Do they wobble to
So
the
we
floor?
have done an AEW or a second AEW toy unboxing.
Yeah.
Since Smarks always wants to open his toys right away by himself.
I do. I mean, I can't help myself. I almost bought an Anna Jay figure not too long ago because I came across it.
But you wouldn't do an unboxing on live.
Of course he wouldn't.
If I can hold it to
Dude has ADD, like just by like switching.
Like, oh my god, I have this feature.
You're lucky he doesn't open it as soon as he finishes with the cash.
Stops
I mean,
right there in the aisle.
I mean, I had self-control enough to open those Topps Finest WWE cards all, on air, right?
I feel like you re-wrapped it.
Nope, I never rewrapped them. I did, however, not have the self-control to not open all of these Panini Prism ones. But that was retail therapy, when I was sitting in my mother's house. I was like, nope, I got to do something to make myself feel better.
So. Never had a Panini in prison. All right, I'm also going to go ahead and make the crash joke that comes with this and this.
Well, for some reason or other, I can't see what you're doing.
Cody's excited.
You've frozen up, so I don't see what you're showing.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
I just see your old picture, so
Cody's
I don't know. Maybe
excited.
other people are seeing it. The StreamYard has been weird sometimes about things. So
I'm not.
I'm back. Now I'm moving.
No, you're not.
Nope, still not moving.
Cody's excited.
Oh my god!
Poster between his legs.
Anyways, on that note, I think it's time to wrap things up. 2 hours of this, and I'm tired.
Yeah, that's
you
fair.
had a busy week, so that's fair.
I've got busy weeks ahead, and DA Fabe knows all too well the busy weeks ahead.
I empathize, my friend.
So, but on that note, let's go ahead and close the book on the wrestling booking unit. You can support us by going to any of the links in the Doobly Doos Patreon, the shop Spreadshirt, where we have our merch store up, where you can buy your edgy merch, like this. You can buy some edgy generic podcast merch, like this.
Yeah.
Generic ass podcast merch. It's edgy.
Edgy.
That's at
Mostly because if she wore it off to the side just a little bit, it would go off the edge of her shoulder.
it would be edgy. You could also get shirts that say "pun always intended." So, but yes, you can go to rawandorderwbu.myspreadshop.com to find all that. Link is in the doobly doos or in the comment earlier and our comments.
Good night, Ambrosia.
You
Good
can
night.
go to our Patreon, patreon.com/rawandorderwbu. Link's also in the doobly doo for that. You can do that. Of course, we mentioned tatnisco.com. Make sure to head on over there. Check out the stuff there. You can follow us on the social media. You can follow me at Raw and Order WBU, just like you see down there at the bottom of the screen. That's on TikTok and on Twitter and on YouTube and Instagram. The only place it's not on is Facebook, where it's at Pissant Podcast, like you see on the hat there. But you can follow me on all of those social medias. You can follow DA Fabe at
DA Vincent Kayfabe, just like right down there on the bottom. I don't know if I'm still frozen, but this
You're
is
frozen
bad.
in a different position, but it's right there.
Is Cody's poster next to my face?
No.
And
you can follow JLB at
JLB420. Real Talk Radio, though, is the brand at Real Talk Radio 8, anchor.fm/RTR. Links are in the doobly doos. There's a link tree, so all the following is there because I know some of you are lazy. And I didn't mean to. That wasn't a knock at Ambrosia or anything. I felt
or any of our other fans for that matter.
Or any of our other fans for that matter. But yeah, I mean, it's all there. I'm lazy. I'd go right. If someone has a link tree, I go straight there. I'll get everything I need. So all that is down below. And back to you, good sir. And yeah.
But yes, but make sure to follow us, like, share, and subscribe to the podcast on anything. I've said it before. I'll say it again. Go to twitch.tv/rawandorderwbu. Follow us there, because we do occasionally do Twitch exclusive streams. We did one. Well, they did one after last week's episode. I was not in the condition to do it as well, and probably would not be tonight either. But make sure to follow us there, because there are going to be some Twitch exclusive ones. We might start doing things like Botchamanias again, stuff like that. Botchalongs, that's what I meant to say. And might do those on Twitch. No, I've got multiple jobs. I've got lots of jobs. But follow us on Twitch. But if you don't want to follow us on Twitch, I understand. We're still going to do the main show on Twitch and YouTube and Facebook for at least the time being, and it will still go up as audio format after the fact, so you can still listen to the audio version as well. But if you want to get everything, Twitch is the way to go, so follow us over there. But on that note, I think we're gonna close the book. Thank you all for listening. We will see you soon.
Bye.
Orange County has a